Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Christina Williams, and I'm here to bring you the first lesson in Foundations for Literacy workshop number 3. So you've already completed or your child has tested out of Foundations 1 and 2, and now you're ready to take it one step farther. We are so excited about that. Now, the first thing I want you to know that we've included is your Foundations 1 and 2 review. So before you get started in Foundations 3, we just thought it would be a great idea if you had a game board that has words that represent all the phonics skills your kids have learned throughout Foundations 1 and 2. If this offers any surprises and your kids are struggling with any of these the words, then maybe there are some lessons you need to go back and visit one more time, or just a quick reminder giving the kids the proper sounds and the motions that we've learned that would help them to be able to decode these. Now remember, we're not expecting perfection as your kids make their way through, but we are expecting that they lean on the phonics rules they've been taught and that you are equipped to help them as they sometimes forget to use what they know. So you'll have movers and a die, and you can use that to play this game. Now, as you know, we usually kick off our lesson with a book, and this lesson is no different. I'm going to read from the book Muddy Paws. And parents, if you want to just kind of cue the kids up and tell them that Dr. Christy is going to be reading a book, you can also use this video not just to inform you about what you're going to be doing with your kids, but you can show this section of me actually reading. Are you ready? The book I'm going to read is Muddy Paws, and it's by Moira Butterfield. And when I make the sounds across the word, I would say m-ud. E. I know longer words that end with a Y. The Y sounds like E, and this is two words put together. So I would say M-U-D-E, and then P-A-Was. Muddy Pawas. That doesn't make a word, I know. That's because there's a new phonics rule. The lesson for today, we're going to be focusing on AW. And when you get to an AW, the motion we're going to do is this. You pretend you're holding a really cute puppy in your arms, and you take one hand and pet it and say, "Aw, like he is so cute." So we're going to do that every time I read the words muddy paw prints. I want you kids to hold that little puppy in your arms and say, "Aw." It would be even sweeter if you have a puppy at home. Muddy Paws, not Muddy Pawas. It was a special day for Ben. He had a new puppy. "I'll teach you all the things I know," said Ben. "But first, I need to choose a name for you. I'll need to think hard about it. It has to be just perfect." "I don't really mind what name you choose, as long as you give me lots of cuddles," thought the new puppy. Ben looked around his bedroom to see if he could find an idea for the perfect puppy name. "I'll look in my storybook," he said, but none of the names in the book were right for his new puppy. "I think I'll leave you to hunt for names," thought the new puppy. "I'd rather look behind that flower pot." The little puppy crept over, he sniffed, and then he climbed. He didn't mean to knock the flower pot over, but oops, that's just what he did. He made muddy paw prints everywhere. Did you do the motion? Did you make the sound? AW says aw, like in paw prints. "Let's go to the park. I might be able to think of a good name there," said Ben. "I'd rather look behind that tree," thought the little puppy. So he ran and he ran. He didn't mean to jump in the mud, but squelch, that's just what he did. He made muddy paw prints everywhere. AW says, aw, like in paw prints. Ben's neighbors were having a party in their backyard. "One of the guests might be able to think of a good name for you," said Ben. "Let's go and ask them." "I'd rather look in the pond," thought the new puppy. So he leaned over, and he leaned over a little bit more. He didn't mean to fall in the pond, but now watch me on this one. S-p-o-ah-sh splosh. That's just what he did. He made muddy paw prints everywhere. We'd better go home and clean you up, said Ben. I'd rather go digging in the backyard, thought the new puppy. So he dug, and he dug, and he dug. This time he found lots of things, a lost ring, an old wrench, and a toy car that Ben had lost. He didn't mean to bring all of that mud indoors, but pitter patter, that's just what he did. He made muddy paw prints everywhere. And he didn't mean to find a name for himself at last, but guess what? That's just what he did. You are the muddiest, funniest puppy there ever was. There's only one name for you, laughed Ben. Muddy Paws. Now, as we review the motion and the sound, I want you to hold that puppy again, just like the one that we heard about in our story. And I want you to pet that puppy saying, "Aw, he's so cute, aw." Now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a stick and we're gonna actually make 3 toes like this on the stick. All right, 3 toes. And underneath that, I want you to make the letters A, W. Now, if you have time, I'd love for you to take some crayons and add some color, maybe make your paw. That's what we're trying to make this look like. Make it look like your puppy's paw. Or if you don't have a puppy, the one you'd like to have. I've seen lots of pinks and purples and every color paw you can imagine. So you have a puppy paw. We're going to use this as a pointer to help us to decode words with AW that say, "Aw." So here's the thing. I've got in your kit some words that have been wrapped up with a rubber band. That was intentional. And what you're going to do is you're going to have your kids place these word cards on the carpet in front of them or on the table. And this is just a paw AW spotter. So we're going to hold the paw underneath the AW and we're going to make the sounds we see. So we're going to look at that AW and say, aw, ol, off, ol, awful. So we're going to use the paw to help us decode. If I go to the next word, my first job is to find that AW. AW says aw, like pause, and the word is awes, claws. So we're just going to make our way through the stack of words doing just that. Holding our AW finder under the AW, reminding us that AW says aw, and making our way through lots of words. Now, I have this paw header, that's what I call them, for some sorting. So you can put those words under the AW that says aw. Now, I have to show you something else. In this book, it's called Ben and Becky in the Haunted House. And I hear the aw sound, but it's not an AW. It's an AU. Did you know AU can say aw? So here's how we're going to say it. From here on out, we're going to say AU and AW can both say aw. So in order to decode the next words, we're going to take that same stick and flip it over. We're going to make 3 toes here, and we're going to put AU on this side. So now what we're going to do is find some words. These are in a baggie that have AU. And we're going to take those words out and use this to decode some words. So I'm going to put my AU right here. And remember, AU says aw, just like we did for Muddy Paws. And here I have AU says aw, TH says f, and OR usually says or, like Oreos. Author. Author. That doesn't make a word, I know. I've got an idea. That OR could be a bossy R, making the R just say and the O says absolutely nothing. So it could be author. Author, like the author, the person who wrote the book. So I have another paw that has an AU, and we can absolutely begin sorting or dividing our words, AW words under this paw, AU words under this paw, and we're going to make our way through lots and lots of words that have AU saying ah. Now, I'd love for you to get to the point where after you've maybe done this portion of the work, to put all of the words together, mix them up in the baggie, and then draw words out. So your kids will have to navigate flipping between AU saying aw and AW saying aw. After you do that work, then it will be time to do some spelling practice. And this will help that orthographic mapping, helping your kids to remember which one was it. Was it AU or was it AW saying aw? So after you sort lots and lots of words, you can just pick maybe 2 or 3 words from each stack and have the kids try to spell. And here's the thing, we don't want our kids to misspell the words. We want them to take a guess. Like, I think if I say the word claws and like the lobster had big claws, then I want them to think, do I think it starts with AW, or do I think it's, or not starts with, do I think it has an AW, or do I think it has an AU? I think I remember it's AW. So then they just simply can point their stick right here and say, this is the one I think, Mom, or this one is the one I think it is, Dad. And you can say, yes, that's right, and show them the card. And then remove the card from their sight and have them make the sounds. They would say k, l, ahs, claws. And then you show the card once again to say, did you spell it the way you would see it in a book? If the answer is yes, you move right on. Now, the trick here is we don't want our kids to make lots of mistakes and for you to have to say, no, that's not it. We're not quizzing. Remember, we're still teaching our kids. So what we want to remove all the, you have to erase it and do it again. It's so defeating. So as soon as you see your kids start to make a mistake, you can say, wait, what do we know about that again? And you can just kind of cue them into spelling the word correctly. Remember, the more they spell it incorrectly, the more inclined they are to recall it incorrectly. Now, there's something else I need you to know. After you've done that, maybe 4 to 6 words total one day, then you're going to do 4 to 6 words maybe the next day and have them do the sort. It will get much easier. You can remind them of the rule. They can use their stick. And of course, you're going to have this baggie of words handy. Now, there's something else I wanted to share with you, and that is when you get some extra time, you could always put these words out upside down, put a mover on one of these, roll your die, move 1, 2, 3, 4, decode the word using the proper side of the stick if it's needed, and as soon as all the words are right side up, then the game is finished. So you have a game board you could play there too. Now, there are a couple other things. First, there are some words in the AU word cards. In fact, there are 2 words that say taught. And when I'm doing the class in person, I say there's one taught that we're going to leave blank. And then there's another word taught where we're going to mark a line right through the GH. Because after that, you'll remember that I taught you sometimes words ending with AU or with an AU have a GH following, and the GH says absolutely nothing. So on one of your taught cards, mark out that GH. Have your kids do it so they can remember. So when they make the sounds, they will say t, ah, t, taught. Now, I have listed here AU with a GH that says absolutely nothing. Often a GH says absolutely nothing. Caught, taught, naughty, daughter, haughty, distraught, and slaughter. All of those have AU with a GH that says absolutely nothing. Now, you're ready for the trickster? Here's the real rule breaker. Your kids are going to see this word often, and they need to know it is no joke. The word is laugh, but the spelling does not make me laugh. Here we have a ah. Those are expected sounds, and you should absolutely teach them that. But it has a U that says nothing and a GH that says f. This word should be laugh. This is what we would call a true sight word, and your kids just have to remember it. There's a tiny reminder sheet that I have in your kit that has the word laugh, and it's got a space for your kids to make a big smiling face, and they can write the words ha 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 or he all around it. Just try to help your kids to put that word to memory. This is one you might use some magnetic letters on the refrigerator and have them play with the words. It's going to require some rote memory, but you're going to provide the cueing so that, and there are other words where the GH says f. We're going to talk about that in a foundations lesson that's coming up, not I think until Foundations 5, but we'll address those, not to worry, step by step. It's a systematic progression where we teach synthetic phonics lessons. So I think that's it for today. If you have any questions, remember you can always email me at Christy@bookbums.com or Christy@drchristinawilliams.com, and that's CHRISTY. All of the directions are in your kit, and they look like this. It has everything spelled out, and I wish you the best of luck. Have fun with your kids.